Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ryal Thomas. This evening, the title of the show is titled The Hidden Treasures Within. We're going to get right into this. We only have 27 minutes to do this in. I just want to try to make you, the viewers out there, as well as myself, enlighten myself during this conversation that it's so many times that we may fail to realize that there are hidden treasures inside of all of us. We may not realize that at a particular time based on some of the things that we may be involved in or some of the things we may be exposed to. But there are hidden treasures. You take, for example, whether it's in us or whether it's, throughout the world, or it may be people running around looking for treasures all day long. That may be a hobby of theirs, and they're digging up the soil. They're doing a lot of things trying to find something that's actually hidden. And when they find it, it brings about joy. It brings about wealth. See, the same thing can be said about us. There's so many things that are deep inside of us that we may not even realize exist due to the fact that it's been covered up. It may be covered up because of a certain feeling. It may be covered up because of a certain relationship we are in. It may be covered up because of a certain job that we are presently working. So sometimes, just like removing the dirt to find the treasures that lie within, sometimes we have to remove some things that may be hiding our treasures that's within inside of us. But one of the main reasons to find this treasure, to look for this treasure, is the fact that it can change your life. It can bring about longevity to you, because you don't know what's inside of you until you get a hint of what joy and happiness is. Because you may be exposed to dealing with, and let's just be honest, and I'm going to be candid when I say this, we may be talking to some of the wrong people who really may not be concerned about you finding what makes you happy. They may be concerned about drama. They may want to hear a lot of the negative talk or a lot of the negative actions that you may be witnessing, or whatever the case may be. They may not be concerned about that, and all of a sudden you find yourself dealing with something, throwing more dirt on top of your soul, on top of your spirit, where you don't even realize what's inside of you. And when that happens, you have to remove more debris out of your life. And debris can be considered anything. Debris can be considered, like I said, negative influences. You agreeing to things that you know you shouldn't be agreeing to. You dealing with things that you know that you shouldn't be dealing with. And see, all of these things deep inside, you know that it's wrong for your spirit and wrong for your soul, but yet you choose to allow this to cover up some of your treasures. Like, you take, for example, how can we hate? How can we hate someone based on a feeling or a thought or an action that can be forgiven? How can we continue to hold on to such hate because of the way someone looks, because of the race that they happen to fall under? Do you understand when you harbor such hate, you throw that much more dirt onto your treasures that's within inside of you? And see, and when you start to see and feel the treasures within your spirit and soul, you start to see the change within yourself. You start to feel the change within yourself. You start to see the people that you used to be around that maybe you were trying to help, or maybe they were trying to help you. I don't know the situation, but if there are negative influences around you and you start to shine and you start to become a positive influence, you start to have positive conversations, you start to talk about positive people, you start to get involved in positive activities. See, those individuals who are still on a negative trip, see, they will eventually move away. And see, unbeknown to them, they're clearing the path for you to reveal all the treasures that lie within you. See, it's kind of funny. It's kind of remarkable at the same time. Because see, sometimes we have to be tricked, or yes, let me just use that word. We have to trick ourselves into knowing and believing that there's more to us than what we actually see. You know, just because you are being accepted by a certain group of people doesn't mean that your acceptance is the acceptance of righteousness. See, being accepted by positive and you being positive, you're on your way to bringing about some treasures inside of you, maybe that you didn't know exist. And again, when you start to see changes in your life, you start to see people gathering around you and wishing you well, and you know, and they're proud of the accomplishments that you are making. See, you have to understand that people are not wishing you well because you are being bad. People are wishing you well because there's a change in you. And I will tell you something, that when people see positive change from a negative past, they see a flower blooming. They see something. If this person is coming up like this, then eventually, excuse me, this person is finding that, whoa, they can shine. Look at this beautiful bloom right here. This flower is blooming into a beautiful, beautiful person. You want to grab hold of that person then, because individuals who are actually helping you and individuals who are actually bringing out the best in you, see, believe it or not, again, they've gone through struggles too. So they know the joy. They know the joy of finding the treasures within inside of you. They know the joy of that. See, you don't see the struggles of an individual who's already, as we say, made it. And just because someone is financially successful doesn't necessarily mean they're happy. But when you see someone walking and talking and laughing and joking and always in good spirit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. See, you don't know the struggle that they have come from. See, someone may have helped them pull out the treasures within themselves. See, you have to understand that. So when people see you struggling and people want to lift you up and people are praising you and doing positive things and helping you along this journey, they know the outcome. They know the feeling that you are about to feel. You know, the butterfly, the caterpillar, they doesn't know what it's going to turn into. But once it starts to turn, once the caterpillar starts to turn and the beauty starts to reveal, the beauty is being revealed, and the butterfly flies away in comfort after hanging up for so long, never knew the beauty that was lying inside of it. Never knew that. See, you don't know how far you can go. See, first and foremost, you must realize that there is a treasure. There is a personal, there's an individual treasure or treasures, it's plural, that lies within inside of you. But if you do not try to explore some of these avenues, if you do not try to explore, you will never know what's inside of you. See, you can sit down and you can be depressed and things can get inside of you to make you feel that there's no hope. But see, there is hope. See, there is hope for the student that never thought he or she could graduate. In high school, he or she may have been teased all through high school. Now, I've made it to college. Now I'm with a group of people that understands what higher education means. Understand we're all searching and reaching for the same goals, trying to get a degree, trying to do something that's going to bring out the best in you, as far as a job maybe, or as far as anything. You're reaching deep inside to find who you really are, to find out what your capabilities really are. So we all have treasures. We all have treasures. Just because someone is standing beside you, walking beside you, doesn't mean they're with you all the time. You know, if you're having a problem and you're looking for someone to motivate and stimulate and to guide you in the right directions, sometimes it's best to even talk to a stranger before talking to what you may call as a friend. Sometimes it's best to get in with a group of individuals that they don't even know each other, but they come up with realistic solutions, hopefully. They come up with solutions that they are thinking about you as a person, not thinking about what it's going to cause to someone else or something else or whatever the case may be. We're reaching deep inside of you to bring out the treasures that lie within you. See, we have to recognize this. We have to recognize this. You know, sometimes we have to look at things and be real with one another and say to ourselves, you know, am I on the right job? Am I in the right relationship? Do I have the right friends? You know, because if these individuals are not trying to bring out the treasures that lie within inside of you, and you're going to them talking about things that you need help with, and after giving your all to them, they are talking or coming back with some sort of resentment for the situation or the individual you may be talking about or whatever the case may be. You can't add another log on the fire because it sounds good. You know, a lot of people say an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, or whatever the case may be. I wouldn't advise that. Me personally, I don't know if, and I guess it all depends on how extreme it is, but sometimes an eye for an eye can push you further into trying to find a treasure that you may never find. You can push yourself further into a situation that doesn't allow you to look anymore. You know, you have to be careful with that. It's very, very important to understand you. And the first thing we must understand is ourselves. You know, sometimes circumstances, as they say, circumstances and situations doesn't reveal a lot of things. It may reveal the person who you are. And you must have a different relationship with your friends. You must have a different relationship with your coworkers. You must have a different relationship with your anger, with your understanding. Just because someone tells you something that may not be in the best interest of you that you are thinking, it may be what is called constructive criticism. And you need to listen to that. Sometimes it may not sound right, but it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to say. See, you have to set the stage for your life. You have to set the stage for bringing out the best in you. See, you know when something or someone is wrong for you. You know that. And you can make all the excuses in the world and say, well, things are going to change. Well, let me help you understand something. Sometimes things does not change in someone else's mind. Things have to change in your mind. And if things change in your mind, that's all what's important. Because when they change in your mind, you're not going to make changes for the wrong, we hope. You're not going to do that. Because see, sometimes you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, of dealing with the same old thing over and over again, being told the same old thing over and over again. See, if you reach down deep inside and find and realize that there are treasures that lie within inside of you, you wouldn't have to put up with listening to the same old thing over and over and dealing with the same old thing over and over. Because see, pretty soon it's going to consume you. You're going to be looking one way and they're going to be looking another way. And you're not going to have anything positive to say because your thoughts are not positive. So what you need to do is remove yourself from certain situations so you can get your head together. So you can realize what you need to do to find this treasure in you. And see, and once, I'm telling you as a witness, once you realize that, and once you stop living up to the expectations of what someone else believes you should do or should believe, and you start to believe in yourself and believe in the righteousness of you, things will happen. Things will happen for you. And like I said, you can tell when things are about to happen because people start to, they don't call as much because see, you're not listening to a bunch of crap that you listen to. They don't come by as much because you don't drink the way you used to drink, or they don't come by and talk to you the way they used to talk to you about their problems, because now when they're talking about their problems, you're trying to give them positive advice. They don't want to hear positive advice. They want to hear something that's comforting to their anger. Something that's going to confirm the fact that why they are mad, why they are upset. See, one thing about love and one thing about finding treasures, you start to distribute those treasures towards people who hasn't found their own treasures yet. So it's kind of hard to talk about a steak when you've never had a steak. So it's hard to try to talk to someone about a treasure who's never found a treasure. So you can be persistent in helping them try to look and seek that treasure that lies within them. But until they get to the point where they know that treasure is there, they're going to run for a while. They're going to run because doing the right thing and feeling the right way sometimes is a little bit more difficult than not running or doing the wrong thing. See, sometimes the wrong thing can bring about a joyful feeling. If your thoughts are wrong, if you're around a wrong crowd, because everything around you is wrong. And if that becomes a way of life for you, you don't see righteousness. You don't see doing the right thing. See, sometimes that's why you have to step back and you have to start being real with yourself and looking at what you are doing, what you are saying. How come I didn't get the promotion? How come my husband and I, or my wife and I, are on bad terms right now? How come we're not able to sit down and talk to one another right now? See, maybe you haven't found the treasures, or maybe you don't even know or realize that there are treasures inside of you. But I'm here to tell you, sometime, excuse me, you have to move that debris. And that debris can be anything that holds you back from being all that you can possibly be. And don't be ashamed. Excuse me. Don't be ashamed to tell someone that, at the present time, I'm having some issues. I'm having some concerns. See, you have to be honest with yourself. When you're trying to bring about positive change, you cannot make excuses or justify certain acts because you may be embarrassed, or you may not want someone to know, this is what happened. See, being truthful and being honest, that moves a little bit more of that debris. That removes a little bit more of something where you can see that treasure kind of like shining through. You can feel the true you starting to surface. You can feel it, man. It's a feeling that can't be explained because we weren't born like this. We weren't born to hate one another. We weren't born to show jealousy. All this stuff that has piled up on us from generation to generation, from conversation to conversation. Man, no conversations were there in the beginning in a negative manner. So where does this feeling come from? Where did we feel that we have to attack one another? Even when we build up a friendship, some of us throw the friendships away because of what's been said. But if you wouldn't allow certain conversations to take place in the beginning, you wouldn't have to throw away the friendship. When someone starts to talk about someone in a negative manner, you need to put that right there in check. Right there. If you want to develop a true friendship with a true person, be real from the beginning. From the beginning. Let an individual know where you stand. Let an individual know how you feel, because then there are no surprises. There are no surprises. So you can reach deep inside of yourself and say, this is what I believe. This is what I stand for. And if it removes some people away from around you, so be it. But if it brings more people to you, those individuals they're in line. They're in line with understanding who they are. They're in line with understanding what treasures lies within inside of them. And then we move on. But you can't not be adding more debris onto a situation or onto your spirit and onto your soul and think that you're going to find the treasures that's inside. So remove this debris. Remove it. That's the only way you're going to find these treasures. Like I said, and people are graduating. Kids are doing this. Not everything is bad in this world. Not everything is bad in your life. People are getting together, doing things, laughing, joking, sitting around, having great conversations. Not everything is bad. I don't care what the media is showing you. I'm telling you, there's a spirit. There's a good spirit that lies within all of us. All of us. Whether you want to bring it out or whether you want to keep it in. I'll let you in on a secret. All of your concerns and questions will be answered in death. All of them. But it'll be too late to turn back and say, I didn't know that, or I didn't know this. Well, I'm here to tell you today that know that you are not who you were born to be. If you are experiencing a lot of hate and harboring hate in your heart because of a person's color, because of this or because of that, you weren't born to hate. How can you be born from love, born out of love, to project such hate? See, it's not even possible if you look at it from a spiritual standpoint. So I'm here again to tell you is to research yourself, look into your spirit, look into your heart, look into the eyes of that loved one you may be looking into, lying in the bed with, or having dinner with, or whatever the case may be. And it doesn't hurt. Even in the moment of anger, hear me please, in the moment of anger, try saying, I love you. Try saying I love you and watch how your spirit and your soul reacts to that statement. I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been great for me. I just want everyone to understand that there are treasures inside of all of us. Dig deep, pull them out, and live your life. Be happy. May God be with you. Thank you very much. This has been Ryal Thomas. Good night.